How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me now? How you like me
now? Corey Richards is one of the new generation of camera warriors at National Geographic. The magazine has assigned him to go where no one has gone before, to the summit of unclimbed peaks in Antarctica, and bring back first ever pictures.
Box loaded!
Corey and the National Geographic climbing team are on their final leg to the unexplored mountains in Antarctica. But their plane is getting tossed around by high winds, putting their entire expedition in jeopardy. Whoa.
Obviously here is the best route to that crown.
Photographer Corey Richards and the National Geographic team are headed to one of the last uncharted places on the planet, a remote region of Antarctica, where they plan to climb mountains no one's ever climbed before. The pilot is fighting powerful wind gusts as they search for a safe place to land. With gas running low, they finally pick a spot and take their chances.
It's beautiful! Yeah! Unreal. This is a really, really beautiful area we've found for ourselves.
I can't believe we've actually made it. This place is awesome. But now we're really on our own at the end of the world. So the first thing we gotta do is build ourselves a base camp. There are these nasty katabatic winds here. They're winds that come down off the ice cap and can gust at like 150 kilometers an hour. So we're gonna put up a wall, like a fort, all around our camp to protect us. We're going to take a few days and ski a big loop around these mountains to try and get a better look at them. Our goal is to do as many first ascents as time allows on the surrounding unclimbed peaks. We don't know much about them except that they're really, really old. That means the rock could be bad. Rotten cracks, sharp edges, and a lot of loose stuff. All the things that make climbing really dangerous.
51% of me says the ship's proud further for me.
Agreed.
Yeah. This is special. What a special day to have good weather finally.
But weather is a moment-to-moment deal in Antarctica.
Well, we left base camp to try and do a circumnavigation of the small range that we're next to. And it's turned into more of just a head down sufferfest. Really uncomfortable.
The weather's our biggest enemy. Every time we get a break, it blows in again. There's a reason we're the only ones here. The weather can kill you.
Taking the day while the light's flat to kind of clean gear and get the grit out of it. It just takes so much abuse out here that, you know, one day on the ice cap and one day climbing, and I'm very, very hard on my gear. Extremely hard on it. It just takes a beating. And every day I think it's not going to turn on, and every day it turns on. It's pretty incredible. And you can see it's just super hammered, but it keeps on working, and the images that come out of it are just crisp as can be. This thing is a workhorse if there ever was one. This kid has taken me to all 7 continents, and it's never let me down.
My name's Corey Richards, and I'm a National Geographic photographer. My activities and expertise take me to the colder climate areas of the world, where I find myself coming face to face with unique wildlife and breathtaking scenery. In environments as unpredictable as the ones I visit, my 1DX, with its unbelievable speed and accuracy, has become an absolute must in capturing the essence of any environment. As for the EF70 to 200mm lens, it enables me to capture the most elusive images. There are countless ways to describe the challenges that I face on location, but the masterpieces I bring back with my 1DX are beyond words.
Canon, delighting you always. An unforgiving wilderness.
It felt like we were going down into the, into the abyss.
A striking landscape. And an elite photographer at the top of his game.
That's the most amazing lizard I've ever seen.
It's a totally new species.
It's completely new. It's man against nature in a battle that out here, nature often wins.
I mean, I can try to sneak up on him, but I don't want to push him back in the forest.
In one of the last truly wild places on Earth, photographer Tim Lehman is on assignment for National Geographic magazine. His goal, bring the shots. A professional at the top of his game, he'll do anything to get the shots, including some pretty precarious high wire acts.
It's really quite a remote and difficult to travel in area. And Geographic likes that kind of adventure exploration kind of component to the story. One of the things that got me interested in the Cape York Peninsula and doing a story about it is the real diversity here. It's both habitat types and also the wildlife. It's just really rich and many species. This is the only place in Australia where they're found. A killer shot would be a shot that, when you see it, it's something that really surprises you because you haven't seen anything like that before. So it's not just another portrait of a bird or a snake or something. It's something that's really unique.
Tim wants to shoot the python in a hunting pose, not mid-climb.
No, this one's an adult, actually. I thought it was a young.
But the first subject they find is a much more common reptile. Tree frogs.
Walking down to the creek just behind where we're staying here, and there was a tree frog just sitting up on the leaves in the rain. So I showed that to Tim. He was very keen on that because it's a beautiful little frog with spectacular eyes.
Some of that can be solved by turning that yellow light off.
Tim set up, but his lights are attracting bugs, which makes shooting difficult.
It'll make it worse if it does.
I mean, light? Yeah, they're all going to you.
Yeah.
I'm turning back
Okay.
on.
Turn the lights off a minute.
Tim's always looking for new ways to photograph familiar subjects like frogs. But he specializes in getting the impossible shot. One of his most recent projects, photographing all 39 bird of paradise species in their natural habitat.
2 remote control cameras, number 1 and number 2. I photographed quite a few things that people have thought were quite difficult or impossible to shoot. Some really rare birds that are just extremely hard to find. Some really difficult, to photograph behaviors like, flying frogs that are gliding through the forest and things like that. Especially some of the bird behavior, like birds of paradise displaying, which is just really difficult to locate the bird and then to capture the behavior.
That project was a huge success for Tim, but it set the bar high. At night, Tim likes to use his Canon 5D, a camera that does well in low light.
Spin the tripod.
Spin the tripod a little bit. Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
But he has to play with some light to make his subjects pop, while still looking natural.
Little tripod.
Let's just, you like in there?
Here you go. I'll check these 2 lights.
Yep.
Look at that. Came out pretty cool though. Look at that with that little light in his eye.
Nice.
Feeling good about this one.
After just a few hours of sleep, Tim's back at it, taking advantage of the golden morning light.
Yeah, if you could head up a
They get to work, positioning the gecko and building his shot.
on the 60D probably.
Oh yeah,
Is it?
definitely.
Yeah, right. I've never come across it.
Okay, I'll show you later.
The lizard's a challenging subject.
Yeah.
He doesn't go far, because he thinks his camouflage makes him invisible. But that same camouflage makes him difficult to photograph.
One thing I work really hard on is to get nice 3-dimensional lighting and show my subject in as much detail and really bring out the shape and the color contrast and everything as best I can by working with my lights very carefully. So that's the kind of big challenge of photographing these reptiles and amphibians.
Tim, the master of his craft, gets some fantastic options to choose from.
That could be it.